It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning and welcome to Wednesday Travel and Cruise Industry News on this, the 24th day of May, 2023. Coming to you from Bedford County, Virginia, right outside of Lynchburg. It's been a really slow morning this morning as far as news goes. Very weak news day. Of course, we do have to talk about the typhoon at Guam, former Costa Mediterranea, to be operated by Adora Cruises from Tianjin. And it looks like the Norwegian Spirit, we talked about that a couple of days ago, canceling the whole Alaska season. It looks like it's an Asian charter. The Norwegian's not saying anything about that yet. What do they think? We're not going to find out? So, why don't you just come on out and say it to start with? Those are our headlines this morning. Of course, we'll probably get to some other stuff as well. Today, folks, is National Escargot Day. For all those who love exotic foods, you probably like escargot. So today's the day to celebrate the French delicacy. I happen to like escargot. I always have it once or twice on every cruise I'm on. I enjoy it. Of course, my primary thing is shrimp cocktails. I like those even better. But I'll do escargot once or twice during a cruise. If you're listening via the podcast, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcast from, all the big hitters. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the Fat Travel Guy to carry on some silliness about the cruise and travel industry. Actually, folks, I try to do this reasonably serious and have some fun with it sometimes. If you're ever listening to the podcast and want to jump over to check out pictures or clips or videos or whatever that I may be using on that day's show, there's always a link in the description to the podcast to access the video feed. All you have to do is click it and hop over. You can always hop back to your podcast. All right, guys, today we do have one area to cover before we move on to what little bit of news we have. Actually, two areas. One, some of you probably witnessed my live stream this morning with Pete on the Passion for Cruises USA Solos that I'm supposed to host in December 2nd. And because of Norwegian, and this is strictly from Norwegian, everything is on a pause for, it might be a couple hours, it might be a couple days. They're going to fix this. It's going to be fixed. Don't worry about it, you guys that are interested in this cruise. It's going to happen. It's going to happen at the terms that we have the contract on. I'm 99% sure they can't change that. So I'm not worried about it. I know a lot of you guys are, because you don't like to be hung out where it looks like you're hung out to dry. Well, you're not. The back end of this whole thing is underway now. We had a very similar thing at the early goings on the Joy cruise. They've had similar problems in Europe back in the days when they were just getting started. So this is not anything new. It's just that it's affecting all of us a little differently because most of us are new. So anyway, I'm just asking everybody just to chill, just like I'm going to chill. I'm still meeting with them at noon today. I may get more information today. We may have an update tomorrow. I'm going to do my show Friday evening at 6 o'clock, no matter what. So even if I don't have any news, I'm going to do it again, because until we get things actually going and rolling and heading toward the cruise, I'm going to do that every Friday night, just in case you want to come in. So, and hopefully it's, boy, it'd be terrific by then if everything's fixed. So anyway, I do have a meeting at noon today. We'll see what happens with that. It's not likely that Pete will be able to join me at noon today, because he actually sailed from Crete this morning. He's going to be at sea, and they've got really lousy Wi-Fi at sea on the ship he's on. All right, we talked about the last couple of days. My buddy Rochelle, who's down in Egypt right now. She had a couple of messages before I get to the pictures. She got, said it's a totally different cultural experience for her. She went to an outdoor market, which, it's just like our flea markets, only, the materials are different. So, and the styles are different. But it's basically the same thing. She went on a Nile River dinner cruise that was lovely, only she didn't send any pictures of that. She sent a video clip, and I can't steal her video clips. I got to get her in the habit when she's got a video to send it by messenger, and I can steal it that way. So, and then she visited a Sultan's mosque. She was very interested that she saw quite a few Christian crosses carved in the various places in the mosque. And she said the food and the restaurants in Egypt has been wonderful. So that's the verbal report from Rochelle. Now let's see what we got. Okay. That's strange. What happened to the pictures? Give me a half a second here, folks. I got to do this, and this is going to throw them in total disarray as far as order, but that's okay. So somewhere in my shuffling around today, my pictures from Rochelle over there in Egypt got eaten. So let's do this, and it should be a couple seconds until I have something up. Okay, it's going. Of course, it would go backwards. So this is going to start with the what do you want to call this? It's an open air market. Which one was this? The one? No. Yeah, that's the one. If you look real closely at the style of clothing up here toward the top of that, that's a little different than you see over here in the States. Same basic concept. It's just a little different on the items. That appears to be a flatbread vendor. It looks like it's like a permanent little stove location, and he probably bakes the bread right there and slips it out on the rack there and sells fresh flatbread. That's what I'm guessing that is. I would probably do that too. Family Bazaar, actually an English sign. How about that one? And that's another, obviously, cooking area of some type. And here we go to the Sultan's mosque. The view from outside, from inside, I assume, because she's still in the mosque. That looks like a throne of some type, possibly where a casket or some kind of burial thing has rested. And that's a look from the roof, I would say. I have a feeling that that's not made out of brass, folks. And it's kind of interesting other shots. Of course, Rochelle is my religious expert. If I have any questions about Catholicism, I'll ask her because she goes to churches more than anybody I know. So that's the latest from Rochelle. All right, our top story this morning, folks, we got to talk about the situation in Guam. It's been on my radar now for a couple days. And by the way, if you haven't done so already, I would appreciate the thumbs up. That always helps the channel out. And also, if you have not subscribed, please consider doing so. Hit the bell notification so you'll know when I go live or when a new video is up. Typhoon Mawar passed just north of Guam on Wednesday night. That's Wednesday night their time, which was just a couple hours ago, our time, bringing hurricane force winds, lightning, heavy rain, and widespread power outages to nearly all of the U.S. Pacific territory. This is going to be a long night, a meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Guam said during a news briefing. It's going to be scary. There is no electricity. The storm, packing the force of a Category 4 hurricane, was the strongest to hammer the Guam area in years and could intensify further before weakening tomorrow. Folks, this thing could be at a Category 5. Obviously, the communications from the various parts of the island are not up to snuff yet, so we don't know a whole lot about damages so far. The Guam Power Authority said the island's energy grid was providing power to only about 1,000 of its roughly 52,000 customers, and that was earlier in the afternoon today. It's also too dangerous for repair crews to venture outside yet. There were no immediate reports of injuries. We do know that 8 people have been rescued, and they are now safely in shelters. But the storm was so strong that it broke wind sensors and radar equipment that send meteorological data to the local weather service office. It also brought down the largest tree outside the building, brought it crashing down in the driveway of the weather service office. You know you're in trouble when the storm affects the weather service that way. So that's all going on in Guam. Of course, our thoughts and prayers are with all those folks. The weather service earlier warned of a triple threat: wind, storm surge, and officials were bracing for considerable damage, including non-reinforced concrete walls being blown down, fuel storage tanks erupting, and overturned cars. The Weather Service warned that there's extremely dangerous and life-threatening situation. People should take cover and remain in shelter for the next several hours. Residents of Guam stockpiled supplies, battened down the windows, and abandoned wood and tin homes for emergency shelters as Super Typhoon Mawar bore down on this as the strongest storm to approach the territory in decades. The U.S. military sent away all of its ships. President Biden approved an emergency declaration already, and anyone not living in a concrete house was urged to seek safety elsewhere ahead of the Mawar, which could arrive as a Monster 5 category storm. Guam Governor Lou Guerrero said on social media that the emergency declaration will support the mobilization of resources into Guam which is especially crucial given our distance from the continental U.S. Guerrero ordered residents of coastal low-lying and flood-prone areas of the territory of over 150,000 people to evacuate to higher ground. So that's the latest on the whole mess in Guam. Again, our thoughts are with all you guys over there, both the natives and the U.S. servicemen that are stationed there. So, all right. Got a couple more stories right after this. You know, summer is nearly here. Get outside and explore. Save big on products site-wide during our Memorial Day sale. We've got discounts on mobility scooters, discounts on electric wheelchairs, discounts on everything. Just use your code MEM2023. That's for Memorial Day 2023. This week, you get 10% off everything. All mobility devices site-wide. Just do your shopping. You can do it online. You can call. It doesn't matter. If you call, dial 844-664-7467. 10% off on everything from Scootaround and Will power chairs. Use the SRN 11137. And in fact, I'll get a little credit for it. That'd be nice. All right. So we're still checking on the Mawar, but it looks like it is completely now just it's over the country, over the territory right now as we speak. All right, the next story this morning. Some of you guys that have been around as long as I have might have sailed on this before. I have not. This is the Costa Mediterranea, part of the CSSC Carnival Cruise Shipping Joint Venture. It's about to begin sailing later this year on international cruises from Tianjin. The 2000-built ship will be operated as Mediterranea by Adora Cruises following the refurbishment, bringing new livery upgrades and adaptations for Chinese passengers. It's scheduled to enter service in the fourth quarter. The Mediterranea can accommodate up to 2,680 passengers in 1,057 staterooms and suites. January 2020, Costa Atlantica had transferred to the joint venture between China State Shipbuilding Corp. And Carnival Corporation and Costa Mediterranea following. It was idle during the pandemic. Meanwhile, construction of the joint venture's first new build advanced at Shanghai Wagioqua Shipbuilding, the Adora Magic City. That's due to begin sailing in late 2023 from Shanghai. So you're going to have the Mediterranean and the Mediterranean and Adora Magic City both sailing later this year. And finally this morning, guys, you remember we talked a couple days ago about the Spirit, whose 2024 Alaska season was canceled? Norwegian did not say where it was going, just said that it was due to a charter. Well, we find out at least that it's going to head to Asia on a charter of 109 nights, according to sources in China. Norwegian Cruise Line did not confirm the Asia information, but said the charter is not part of the company's Experiences at Sea charter program. Last week, NCL informed customers the Spirit's Alaska sailing from July 3rd to September 18th were canceled for a charter. Impacted passengers will get a refund and a 50% discount in the form of future cruise credits for select sailings to Alaska this summer, departing from Seward or Vancouver. Applicable itineraries include Norwegian Jewel sailings May 22nd through September 25th, Norwegian Spirit voyages from May 24th through August 23rd. As well, passengers will receive a 10% discount and a future cruise credit. So, according to NCL.com, Norwegian Spirit is set to sail from Vancouver on September 25th to Hawaii, continuing on with Hawaii and South Pacific cruises, and then to Asia and Australia in December 2024. NCL recently expanded its sales presence in Australasia, leading up to the Norwegian Viva's introduction in August this year, and the company's return to Asia after a 3-year hiatus. Okay. They have a mistake in this press release. The press release says applicable itineraries include the Jewel from May 22nd to September 25th, and the Spirit voyages May 24th to August 23rd. Well, they're canceling from July 3rd. So that's the Spirit sailings will only be available through probably the week before July 3rd, probably through like June 26th or something. So that's clearly a mistake. I did not catch that this morning. So, yeah, there's an availability on Spirit from May 24th, probably through the week before. Okay. Straighten that out, sort of. All right, let's see who's fussing at me in the chat room today. Hot Air Tom is here, 7 days to Heathrow. Kenneth's with us. Kenneth, I saw where you popped in right at the end of my show with Pete this morning. I had already hit the button to leave before I got to say hello to Kenneth. Kenneth popped in right at the end. Mike's with us. Hi, Mike. Dennis is here. Hi, Dennis. Dennis was with us this morning, too. Joanne's with us. Spirit Asian. Lots of people were guessing it was booked for the Olympics in France. The timing made sense with the travel time needed. Would have made for some nice repositioning cruises. Yeah, it would have. It's all about bourgeois. Oh, for the escargot. Bourgeois sauce. Butter, garlic, parsley. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce that one, Dennis. You got to send me a cheat sheet. Now, Epic is off the booking engine from December 23rd to March 24th. We are waiting to see what that is all about. Sounds like a corporate email came down earlier today, and it may be redeployed from Europe to the U.S. over the winter. There's Elizabeth. Greetings, Chillie, Tom, Kenneth, everybody, and all from hot and sunny Cozumel. Boating this afternoon, photos later. Well, that's pretty cool. Eli boating in Cozumel. in a string bikini. Yeah, no, she doesn't wear a string bikini. Dennis says, I watched the replay from yesterday. Were you asking about the Queen Mary or the Queen Mary 2? I've had brunch on Queen Mary in Long Beach and sailed the transatlantic on the QM2. Oh, that's pretty cool, Dennis. Yeah, obviously the QM2 is the one that has the transatlantic. I was going to look up the pricing for that and didn't. I need to do that. Sonny's with us down in Mississippi. Steve's here. Hi, Steve. Pete was in Heraklion today in Crete, right? Heraklion. E would be the emphasis. Heraklion. All right. Dennis says hello and sunny to Steve. Dennis, we are going on the Rhone cruise in 25 with Tom and Chillie, and it ends in Rome instead of the long flight back. We saw our cruise on the Queen Mary 2. They leave England and goes to New York City. We are going on the Panama Canal in August, and we are staying at the Queen Mary in Long Beach before we cruise. Oh, that's awesome. I'll look forward to some pictures on that one. So we're deciding if we should go back to the U.S. on a cruise ship or a long flight. Yes, from Southampton transatlantic is my favorite. No jet lag. Dennis, what we're thinking to be such a long flight that the cruise sounds better, and on vacation to go has it for a little over $1,200 a person for the inside. Wow, that's not bad. Of course, they're going to screw me for solo. Elizabeth says definitely take a cruise back. Boy, I tell you what, I'm liking that option a lot too. Emily's with us. Hello, gang. Kenneth, I hope you're in Long Beach for the Queen Mary's weekend brunch buffet. If they still offer it, it's nice. Sounds like the weather in Iceland is bad too, very high winds. I have a cousin there on a land trip, and she said they were advised to hunker down. She has a travel trailer rental. Yeah, that was the Sky Princess yesterday. And the only reason they actually ended up getting to land in Iceland after 4 days of cancellations was because of a medical emergency, and they had to land under unsafe conditions because of that. Needless to say, I doubt anybody got off the boat while they were there. $1,200 including ports and fees. Wow, that's awesome. You know, I'd jump all over that. Wish I could get it for that. And the Prima is circling off the coast. Captain says it's too windy for them to dock in Reykjavik. Yeah, it's been like 50 and 80 mile an hour winds. You can't dock anywhere in those kind of winds. Kenneth, is that for an inside? Yes, it is. Dennis, I saw that. Nikki's with us. Hi, Nikki. Yeah, Dennis said yes. Current Prima condition is 4.3 meter waves. 4.3, that's 12, 14 feet waves or so. That's pretty stout. What's the temperature in Iceland? Cold. I don't know. It's always cold in Iceland. Yeah. That should rock them a bit. I would think so. Inside for $1,200 before taxes and fees on the Queen Mary 2. Transatlantic are much better than overseas flight. Next April, we're going to, oops, and I got cut off. Kenneth, pack clothes for the evening, otherwise you will have to eat in the buffet. Oh yeah, they dress every night on Cunard. Huge wage furniture will be sliding all over with people. Yeah, that'd be nice. Dennis says, Nikki, it's my favorite. That's cool. Cruise to Barcelona and come back on another ship. That's why I won't be joining Kenneth on that ship. I don't do buffets and I don't dress up for dinner. I'm too messy, would be messing up my good clothes. Well, I mean, I'm not sure to what extent they require. I know it used to be dress clothes, but now I think it's more, a sport coat and a shirt, open shirt is probably acceptable. I don't know that for a fact. I haven't been on it. But still, you can't go in there with shorts. I promise you that. You can't go in there with a t-shirt. I think it's got to be a collared shirt. So yeah, I know that puts me in trouble with t-shirts. But I would have to take collared shirts for that. And I have 4 or 5 now. Nikki says, agree, Dennis, but you got to love the sea days. Sonny says, I love sea days, love the TAs. Yep. The Queen Mary 2 is 7 days and all sea days, perfect for relaxation after the 26-day cruise. Nikki says, have a good time, Tom. Where does the Southampton transatlantic go? Does it come back? No, transatlantic goes from Southampton to New York. Transatlantic is across the Atlantic, yeah. So some of them go to New York. Some might go to Miami or Fort Lauderdale. But usually it's one or the other. And then the reverse from Miami, Fort Lauderdale, or New York, or possibly Boston, even over to Southampton. Dennis says, I agree, Tom. That's why I was gutted when I found out Disney canceled their ocean liner, the Queen Elsa, during the blip. It was complete. It was to compete with the Queen Mary 2. Tracksuit is formal for me. Yeah. Can you get by with a tracksuit in Cunard? I mean, I'd love that. I mean, I've got, that's what all my long pants are. But then I'm kind of hidden because I'm in a chair or a scooter. Southampton to New York, Brooklyn. Sometimes it goes Hamburg after the UK. China would be interesting. I wonder what the price would be in dollars. I haven't looked at that, Sonny. I've never sailed to China. I've never sailed in the Orient at all. So that is on the bucket list, but it's on down the bucket list of what I hope to do. Maybe one day I'll get there. Emily says the only time I dressed up on the Dawn was for the white night, the white party. Well, Cunard is totally different from NCL Dawn, M. I mean, totally. That's a different world. Cunard is more of a throwback to the, like the Titanic days. where it's you celebrate dressing up every night, and men wear the tuxedos and the women wear the gowns. Yeah, it's not my style either, but I would have to think about especially if it's a little more relaxed now, that I could get by with just a collared shirt and a pair of slacks. Even if it was a collared shirt with a sport coat. I mean, I travel with a sport coat, so I'll wear the same sport coat every night. That's what they have laundries for. The Queen Elizabeth was Southampton, Dover, to New York City, to Castaway Cay, to Port Canaveral, and then return to Southampton via New York City. Is that the only trip to cruise from Southampton and come back to New York City? The lowest transatlantic fare before the blip was $499. Wow. Okay, here we go. Neon rhymes with bone. Known. Bourguignon. Bourguignon. Okay. I have worked on QM2 if you need any info. Cool. Mom always insists we have brunch on the Queen Mary when we went to Disneyland. My parents and grandparents sailed on her before the jet age. Yeah. I mean, that's the only way you could get across, across the pond was on ships like the Queen Elizabeth. The N is pronounced very lightly, as you did. Heraclean. Heraclio. There we go. Heraclion. I forgot the twirl. The transatlantic on the QM2 are late spring through December. Then the QM2 offers the annual world cruise. That's correct. I hear you, no dressing up for me either. White party will do that, but no dress up. The Cunard was suggested to you. Okay. You have to dress up. Thanks, but no thanks. I only have so many dressy outfits. The promenade deck on sea days is a favorite, lounging in the deck chairs, watching the sea go by. Now, I enjoy doing that as well. Sonny, that was the only time I dressed up for the white party. You can't go above deck 7 without the dressier clothes. There you go. Sonny says I'd be stuck down in steerage then. 7 and below. That's where the real parties are. It adds a lot of weight when packing too. Yeah, it does. Key, not G. My bad. Gee. I usually go to the pizza place during the formal nights. We don't do formal nights on other cruise ships. We're not big on dressing up. Khakis is dressing up for me. GH is a hard G. Yeah. Bourguignon. That doesn't sound quite right. We go back up. Where was the other one? I gotta go back and find the other one, Dennis. Wow. You wouldn't know. I can't put my finger on it when I'm looking for it. Huh. You know what? That's ridiculous. I know it's up there because I struggled with that, and now I can't find it at all. Okay. Sonny also check MSC transatlantic repositioning cruises. They're even cheaper. Yeah. Bourguignon. No. Yon. Bourguignon. Okay. I'm going to leave it at that. Chillie and Tom, are you doing the formal nights on NCL Epic? I do. Usually, escargot bourguignon is the garlic butter parsley sauce. That's delicious. Yeah, that makes the escargot wonderful. I usually do formal nights, but I don't. I mean, that's just a sport coat. I don't take a tie with me anymore. I quit doing ties when I got out of a suit and tie every day. So I don't even take one with me. I do take a sport coat, and I do have some collared shirts. I have my good white shirt. You know, I got my $200 freaking shirt. And I've got a couple other now, you know, print lightweight cruise shirts that are collared. So, you know, I'm good for several nights of dressing up. As long as I can get by with my pants and not have to have any fancy pants and fancy shoes. I don't travel with dress shoes either. Remember, I have to travel as light as possible. So, NCL does not have formal. Oh, that's right. NCL doesn't have formal nights anymore. This last NCL cruise, I didn't even take my sport coat out of the closet, the whole cruise. So, anyway, yeah, other cruise lines still do formal nights, and yeah, I do. I usually go for them because that's generally the nights where you're going to get, you know, prime rib, or you're going to get lobster if they have lobster on the menu, or a good steak, you know, is a possibility. So yeah, I try to do that. They used to have dress up or not nights, and I have not seen those past COVID. Used to be the day the captain would pose for pictures in the atrium. No captain's pictures. They don't take much of a chance getting COVID. Yeah. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. Again, I've got a meeting here in 20 minutes on the solo cruise with the folks at Viva, and I want to get this processed. I got sidetracked yesterday, and I never got the podcast posted until like 7:00 last night. So anyway, that's going to wrap me up for today. As always, thank you guys for being here. And of course, Dennis, thank you for the help with words that I never can pronounce right. I'll keep working at it. And someday you'll keep pounding them in. But anyway, I'll see everybody back here same time tomorrow. Tomorrow is also Cruise Amigos. I have not talked to John for a couple days to see how he's doing. I'm going to try to call him here in a few minutes as well. And then Friday night, I'll be doing the next solo cruise, no matter what the situation is. If we're even on hold, I'll still do the show Friday night at 6 my time, so we can just talk about it and keep everybody in good spirits about the December 2nd cruise. All right, that's going to wrap me up for today, guys. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a fabulous day, everybody. See you tomorrow.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry, so if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.